Welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. This is episode number 50, and of course, I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin', and I just want to extend to all the dads out there, Happy Father's Day. But of course, I'm joined by none other than my co host, Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's another Press Start podcast. We missed last week, as many of you already know, because of the Game Fest that was going on. Um, we've got a lot of news going on. We're not going to cover much of the Games Fest post review, but we got some new games coming out this week. The industry's abuzz with new changes, shakeups happening, and we had a Square Enix event actually this week, which we'll cover as well. How are you doing today this week, Vic?
I'm pretty good, man. Just feel like time is just flying by right now, and I just need it to slow down a little bit, just so I can just enjoy every day as much as I can. But I am super excited for my Boston trip coming up in about two and a half weeks. So I mean, like that's gonna be super exciting. But what about you, man?
I got a convention coming up here next month, as well as I'm gonna be hopefully completing 3 games here this week. I'm hoping to try to get done with 3 games.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
What do you?
yeah, I got.
So I mean, honestly, let's just ask you, what have you been playing then?
So I ended up picking up a game on Game Pass that I wanted to play when it was on Steam in early access. When it became a full release and it hit Game Pass, Monster Sanctuary. It was like kind of like a platforming Pokemon game, if you will.
Hmm.
Been really fun playing that. We've been playing Tiny Tina's and we're getting ever closer to that. Maybe we might be able to beat it this Sunday coming up. And I've also been playing a few other games on the Switch. I've got Project Triangle Strategy that I'm still trying to beat. I picked Warhammer 40K Battle Sector back up,
Oh, okay.
and I've also been playing a game off of Steam from the community games essentially.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty dope for sure. Yeah, I think we've been on a pretty good stride of beating a lot of games for sure. But yeah, man, I've been playing. I actually just beat the first Assassin's Creed the other day, and that was the first time I actually played through it and beat it, all of it. It's another game that I missed from 2007. Like I was looking back and I was like, 2007 was an insane ass time in gaming. Like Mass Effect 1, BioShock 1, Assassin's Creed 1, obviously Call of Duty at that time. I think that was COD 4. It was just a huge year in gaming, and I was just like, yeah, I missed out on a lot of games because I was only focusing on Call of Duty and Halo 3 at that time. But it's great to play that. And actually, I watched their Assassin's Creed event this past week, and they announced like some more content for Valhalla Year Two, and how they're gonna be. They have another event in September where they're going to be talking about the future of Assassin's Creed, so like any upcoming games that are going to be releasing. So that's been exciting, and I just gotta figure out what I want to play next though. I need to see what I want to play. Got any recommendations?
As of right now, honestly, I've been trolling through a lot of just Game Pass. Honestly, it's there's so many games out there on Game Pass. They've got a section now with everything that's coming up this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for some of the releases this weekend, and I think without further ado, we might as well start covering them. This week, we've got Fall Guys dropping on June 21st. We've got the Shadowrun trilogy on the 21st. We've got Wreckfest coming out on the 21st. And then we've got Deliver Us the Moon on the 23rd. We've got Naraka Blade Point on the 23rd. We've got Sonic Origins, the Sonic Collection, coming out on June 23rd. We've got the Capcom Fighting Collection coming out on the 24th. And then Fire Emblem Three Hopes, that comes out on the 24th. And Madison comes out on the 24th. So we've got a big week for gaming. One of the big ones for me here is the Fire Emblem game coming out. Fire Emblem Warriors comes out on what is it, Friday? Yeah, Friday this week, and I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I've never played a Fire Emblem game. I don't know if I'll ever pick it up just because I don't think it's my kind of game. But the return, I mean, obviously Fall Guys, like me returning back to Fall Guys is going to be a lot of fun. Because it's coming to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and one in the Switch. So now I'm going to be able to play it whenever I want because like I don't
And
really
it's
play.
free to play.
Right, it's free to play, and it's just like I bought it on the PS4, which is in my closet. I just don't play that system. It's just not. I don't want to play the PS4. I have no reason to play the PS4, and I'd rather just wait until I get a PS5 and play all those games on the PS5. It's going to look way better than what the PS4 does. So me being able to return to Fall Guys is going to be a lot of fun because I really enjoyed it. It was a game I was able to play with Lauren, and it was just something. It's goofy. It's gonna hop in for a couple games, maybe at night before bed, and then that's it. And then hopefully play with guys like either from Lunacy Arts or Shoot to Win. So I'm really excited to see if we can get some people together for it. But
No, I agree.
another one though
Go
I'm,
ahead.
I'm excited for is Deliver Us the Moon because they do have the sequel coming out, Deliver Us Mars, that comes out later this year. But this is the next gen upgrade to this. So I did start Deliver Us the Moon like last year or something like that, and I knew that they were releasing a next gen version, so I stopped. And then obviously this is coming out on the 23rd, so I'm like, yes, get to check this out. It's like a smaller indie developed game, and it has me really excited because I love space exploration, the puzzle solving, and whatnot. It looks really cool. And then with the sequel that's coming out, I'm like, yo, that shit looks dope. And so I'm really excited to check that one out. But another one though that surprised me was the Naraka Blade Point. I believe that's the battle royale like melee one, I believe, and but it's coming
Yes.
out with like a story mode too, as well. So that'll be pretty interesting, and I think that comes to Game Pass day one. So that's going to be a great opportunity for me to check out a game that I probably wouldn't normally. I
Well,
wouldn't pick it up. I wouldn't buy it. So this is definitely a great.
that's the thing. It's been on PC for a while, though. It's
Right.
been on the PC since August of last year, but now it's coming to the Xbox Series S and X, and it's going to be on Game Pass. So it'll make it easier for those systems to pick it up.
Right. Yeah, I'm super excited. But any of these other ones that you're excited for other than Fire Emblem?
Honestly, this week I'm not really like over the moon about anything. Fall Guys is interesting because it's going free to play for everyone. It hopefully will bring a lot of people back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it'll be less sweaty than it was because that was becoming an issue with Fall Guys where there were people who were playing, 10, 20 hours, a day, and they're just like, that's all I do. And so it became unplayable for people who wanted to play casually like myself. So I'm excited to see more people come back into the game because it's now free to play. So it means your game will be inundated with less skilled players, so you have a better opportunity to make it further on.
Right.
The Shadowrun trilogy, that's pretty cool that we're finally getting a re-release of this.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, like I've beaten the Shadowrun games, but if you have never played Shadowrun or even the tabletop of Shadowrun, this is a great opportunity to actually get into the genre, into the series, because this is one of those core cyber futurism games, and it plays like the tabletop, which is really cool.
Right. It's like that top down. Um, it says so it's like a cyberpunk meets fantasy. And it's a game that originally, like the first one, originally released in '93, like when we were born. So like
Hmm.
clearly we missed that one. So this is a great opportunity, and the entire trilogy is coming to Game Pass
Yeah,
day one as well. So
and the original one came out on the SNES is what it was, which is, that's pretty old at this point. It's a
hmm
game that's still played to this day by speedrunners.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome for them to bring that back and obviously give it like the next, like the up to date, more modern time touch to it. Obviously, so
Well,
that's pretty
I
cool.
don't know if the SNES version is in the trilogy because the trilogy is going to be the newer games, which is Hong Kong. I can't even remember the full series that's in it. It's going to be Returns, Dragonfall, and Hong Kong, which
hmm
are the three newer games that came out in the past, I think it's 10 years.
No, okay. Yeah, I do see that. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty
So,
dope. It's gonna be an
no,
exciting
it
one.
does look pretty awesome.
And then
But
the last game on the list there, Madison. It's like a horror game, I think,
Mhm.
and it looks really interesting. It looks really creepy, but it has like that very similar to like what's that? What's the game we used to play where you would have to pick up the to survive the different ghosts and stuff.
Phasmophobia.
Yeah, yeah. It gives that kind of feel to it. In a way, it's just you taking pictures. It looks like a lot more. I don't know really what to
Hmm.
expect from it. It looks pretty cool. I probably won't check it out. I kind of stay away from horror games. It's just not my genre. Yeah, man. But yeah, man. Let's move on though. We got a pretty big list here for our industry news. There was, like you said, a lot of buzz going on. We're gonna start off right off here with this one. This is actually really good news to start off with. New York has become the first state to pass a new law legislation that's going to allow to like your right to repair. So that's really awesome. I know that you talk about it all the time, where like most companies like to just do their own repairs and don't allow the consumer to repair it or third parties to repair it. And now that's starting to change, and I'm glad that we're going to start seeing that more and more. What's your thoughts on all this?
So, for those of you who aren't aware what right to repair is, we've talked about it before, and it's probably been about 2 years since we've covered this when we actually still covered actual news as opposed to just the gaming industry. Right to repair involves the idea of you have the ability, no matter what electronic device you buy, as we're if we just take a look at it in the digital industry and the computer and the gaming industry, you have the right to repair your own system. That doesn't mean mod it. That means repair it. That means if something breaks in the console, the developer has to be able to provide you a part to repair it for up to 5 or 10 years of the device. So from when it was created to 5 to 10 years down the road, you need to be able to buy parts from them to repair the device.
Right.
This also extends into the car manufacturing enterprise as well as a lot of other things, like, for example, your stove. You may not think about it, but if an element goes out, you have to call a repair tech sometimes.
Right.
You can't repair these things even though they are yours. You bought them. You own the physical device. They don't have to provide you a part to fix it. In New York, you now must have the parts. So if you want to repair your iPhone, they have to provide you first party parts to repair that device.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cause I hated like if you ever took like an iPhone to get repaired, like a screen, and you went to a third party, and that screen that they would use is just it's not good quality, and they can't get the same kind of screen or legitimate like first party parts because Apple's like, nah, we fix it. Or you got to go to an authorized dealer, like usually it's Best Buy is who they usually deal with. So that's definitely big. And what's really important
It's
though, like how long it lasts too, because I had an issue with my Xbox One where my power supply basically stopped working, and you can't just go buy the first party power supply.
yeah.
You had to order like a third party, and that one actually didn't work. Like they were trashed. They weren't reliable. And then my Xbox One bit the dust, so I had to go buy a new Xbox One at the time. And then I was just like, if I could have just bought an actual thing, I would have been fine. But this law
And
is definitely going to help out with that.
yeah, so this is the first of many to come, and one of the people who is a big proponent for this is actually an iOS repair shop out of New York City.
Hmm.
And he was a lobbyist for this to help get right to repair passed. So, thankfully now we'll be able to really move forward and, be able to own our device. It's going to cut waste going into the future tenfold. People are going to be able to repair their device for, years to come, which will be amazing. It means less waste in landfills.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely big. And then, but speaking about iPhone though, is their next update that they just covered at the WWDC a couple weeks ago, iOS 16. It's going to be adding support for the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. Um, I'm actually really curious about that. Obviously, I'm a huge iPhone fan. I have an iPad, all that stuff, and I'm curious to see like how that can be implemented with those games. Obviously, Apple has their own like Game Pass kind of thing. It's called the Apple Arcade. So I'm curious to see if they can implement like the motion controls of the Joy Cons, or is it just going to be like the button, the inputs and stuff like
Mhm.
that, more or less just a controller, not with the motion controls. So I'm really eager to see what that turns out to be, or what they can turn that into.
No, I agree. Looking at it here, everyone says they work with full support, so hopefully they're able to use the gyro controller inside of those Joy-Cons.
Hmm.
But this is the first step in many for, really helping to be able to design things to play across multiple platforms. Because right now everyone wants their own controller, their own proprietary software. Xbox, they don't want to use Bluetooth. PlayStation, I laud as one of the best creators right now for their devices because they make things for everyone. Like, yeah, you want to play with our controller on PC, it just works natively with Bluetooth. Whatever. You want to play it on your, on your phone, fine. It works natively with Bluetooth. It's
Hmm.
just nice. You don't have to go and get an upgrade to get this. It's been this way for years. They've just
Right.
used something that works.
Right. I'm glad Microsoft and Xbox has adjusted to that because now all their controllers, all
Yep.
their headsets use Bluetooth, so it allows you to connect to any device. Which before, like I think it was the Xbox One controller, was the Microsoft proprietary, where you actually had to use this this part here to
Yep.
plug it in to allow the connectivity to it. Um, so that's definitely pretty cool. I'm just really curious because like a lot of Switch games honestly could be ported to mobile because they're not that big of a file, and mobile games, to me it just makes sense that you can just import Switch games to the mobile device then, and then use the Switch controller on your phone or your tablet. And honestly, like if I could play it on my iPad screen is bigger and looks better than my Nintendo Switch one. So it sounds like a win-win all the way around
Yeah.
as long as it gets implemented pretty good. But moving on here, we were just talking about PlayStation here, and this one's kind of funny. They have created a gamer dictionary, and basically what this is like if you don't know what like NoobTube is, or I don't know, like all the different
HP.
gamer, yeah, the different terms that we use in gaming that we just, to me or to us, it's like secondhand, and we just like, people who aren't in the gaming industry have no idea. Well, now you'll be able to do it. I'm trying to get the link here so you guys can check it out as well in chat.
I have it.
Okay.
I'll post it here. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting concept because now, like I don't want to say it this way, but like say you're a boomer who has no idea what your kids are talking about and you want to actually try to bridge that gap. We want to be a better society where everyone can really experience things. Do you know what an RPG is? I'm not talking about a rocket propelled grenade. I'm talking about a role playing game. You may not know this, or maybe you don't know what a res is, or you don't know what integrated IO means. This is PlayStation's way of trying to bridge that gap for people who don't know and do know. Because sometimes people are stupid. They not stupid. They feel stupid for being unable or unknowing or unknowledgeable on a topic. Now they get to know. Now you
Yeah.
can look it up without having to, deal with it. They put things like walking sim in here, for example, or visual novel or VRR. What do these things mean? Now you know.
Right. It just goes along the lines of like the inclusion in gaming. Like person who's never gamed before that wants to check it out, it can be overwhelming, and then you get in a game, you're like, bro, what are they saying? I have no idea. This gives people a chance to understand the like this. It's another language, more or less. That's really
Yeah,
what it comes down to. You're just learning another language. Obviously, it's words that you understand. It's just putting it in a sentence. You're just like, yo, this doesn't make sense to me, but now it does. So that's pretty cool.
yeah.
But another interesting thing that came out over the last week or so was that obviously during the Xbox press in Bethesda Showcase, they obviously announced a partnership with Kojima. So some PlayStation fans have decided to go file a petition against this partnering of them two, and I just about laughed my ass off. Like, if this isn't one of the biggest fanboys, the biggest hating scenarios ever, like, you guys are really that upset that you just lost another great like PlayStation like developer, more or less, that used to only make games for PlayStation, and now he's coming to Xbox, and that's exciting. I mean, it's exciting for Xbox, but man, those fans gotta go somewhere. That's uncalled for. Like, let people be great.
I think the issue at hand is people are more upset with Sony and the companies off off their sort of extended family.
Hmm.
It's one of those things. It's like these people screwed up so long ago, like so long ago.
Right. Yeah, PlayStation just definitely been on a downward spiral, and then with them losing the whole Kojima thing. But like, we gotta understand, like Kojima is an independent developer. Like he has his own company. He's no longer doesn't work with Konami. He's not owned by PlayStation. He just so happened to make a lot of games for PlayStation because obviously he's from
Konami.
that Eastern market that used to make games for PlayStation, which is dominated with Eastern markets. Xbox is getting into that, and he sees the success and just what Xbox wants to do, especially because this game is going to be utilizing like the cloud and take it to the next level. This is going to be like one of those games that's going to push the boundaries of gaming. Like his creativity is like out of this world, literally. Sometimes, I mean, just look at Death Stranding, how weird and crazy and creative that game is.
Yeah, the issue at hand is Konami and Kojima had a terrible split, and yeah, he owns his own company. It's one of those things. It's like people need to realize that at the end of the day, he didn't leave PlayStation. Microsoft wasn't really a part of it. They kind of pushed him out.
Yeah, can't say
It,
it any better than that.
what are you gonna say? He shouldn't make video games anymore because he can't work because PlayStation, because Konami got rid of him? That's stupid.
All right, but let's move on to some bad stuff. But I thought was handled really well as opposed to say Activision Blizzard. But Microsoft Hololens boss Alex Kipman is has officially been outed as the boss now after a misconduct allegations that have been coming out as regards to what's been going on in the work environment, and obviously with the whole Activision and Blizzard kind of like on the forefront of this. Microsoft stood up and was just like, "Yeah, you gotta go. Like we're not gonna have that in our workplace." And especially with the Activision and Blizzard coming onto their team, like they're gonna have to clean up that mess already, and they don't want to have any more messes to deal with as well. So I'm glad that they were able to nip
Well,
this as soon as possible.
yeah, it's the fact that they didn't want to deal with them at the same time. It's just they want to set a precedent. This
Right.
is a precedent that we're going to be a better company and we're going to look forward to the future and not continue to screw up like so many around us.
Yeah, I just can't believe like yeah when that came out I was just like why
It's
do
just
people just have to be bad like bad people like you know what I mean but it's just
power
it's how to
corrupts,
yeah.
and that's what it is. And they essentially just said fuck around and find out. And he did. He
Yeah,
fucked around, he found out.
yeah, and he just did it too much. Honestly, I'm trying to look at see if they had any like specific claims. Um, yeah, Kipman joined in 2001. Inappropriate behavior is what it is related to. So obviously, you know that anything like sexual harassment is really big right now. So he fucked up. He got caught. Out you go. But
Yeah.
moving on here to the same kind of thing that we're talking about here. Activision Blizzard launched their own self investigation, which is funny. But they claim that their investigation found that there's no evidence of leadership ignoring harassment. Like you said it earlier, like oh the criminal decided he didn't do anything wrong. Okay, come on, that's a
It's
laughing
like
stock.
letting the inmates run the jail. It's honestly, there's no way other to put it than allowing a criminal to decide like their own criminality. Are you innocent? Yep, I'm innocent because I don't think I did anything wrong, and it
Right,
would look bad if I did.
right. Yeah, so that's horrible. They're going to get in trouble. Like, who cares what investigation that they did? The whole world is investigating Activision
Yeah.
Blizzard at this point. Obviously, with the whole purchase with Microsoft, like all of like the FTC and all the other companies that are uh, authorities that are like that across the world, all have to investigate into this kind of stuff. So it's going to be a long time coming. Some other news that kind of shocked me this past week was E3 announced that they are returning next year for 2023. Not only is it going to be an online event, but also an in-person event. I thought E3 was gone. I thought that was it. That was a we weren't going to see it no
Well,
more.
they're watching the Games Fest, I'm assuming, and they're like, "Oh God, people still want this? Oh my God, I didn't realize." Well, the issue at hand is they just need to figure out better programming, and that's the thing. Like, even I felt like Games Fest was lacking at many moments because of the style of the event.
Hmm.
People want to go in person. That's the thing. Like, I get it. At the end of the day, people are still scared about COVID, but even I myself, as a big proponent of vaccines and being safe, at this point, we have passed the hurdle. People want to go back. People want to commune with others.
Yep.
It's safe. People are vaxxed, they're double vaxxed, they're boosted. It's fine. Let's go back.
Yeah,
And
I
I
definitely
think
agree.
E3 is just like we didn't know how to handle a digital event, and Jeff Keighley's like, I'm gonna blow you out of the water because you just didn't do anything.
Right.
I think at this point E3 is also struggling because they're going up against Jeff at the same time. They're gonna be in the same month.
Right. That
How
that that's to me is
how
the
do you
biggest concern, honestly, because like if they're in the same month, are they going to be in the same week? Because that's how they normally are. And I'm just like, well, who's going to be part of what? PlayStation and Xbox, and we're both part of Summer Games Fest,
are
and
you gonna just, are you gonna keep putting the same content on both locations? What are we doing here? And Games Fest is coming back in person next year, so
right. So I'm really confused.
w-
Like they're gonna have to communicate, maybe like do a collaboration to help each other, boost them to the next level. Obviously, like Summer Games Fest was lacking that in person thing, but we always know that E3 was always good at the in person events. Back in the day, like we always watch E3 and the excitement, the crowd, like the crowd involvement during the shows is really important. Like we have one of the most iconic moments from a couple years ago when we had Keanu Reeves come on stage to talk about Cyberpunk, and the crowd was just like, "You're beautiful," and he was like, "Or breathtaking," and he was like, "No, you're breathtaking." Like that's gonna be a forever gaming moment that sticks around with us from E3. So it's
yeah.
just like they just got to figure it out. Um, but one last thing here, Duke Nukem. This one actually was surprising. This was random. A Duke Nukem movie is in production from the Cobra Kai creators at and also involved with Legendary Entertainment. Um, we haven't seen Duke Nukem in I can't tell you when, like a game or any kind of media. So for them to come out of nowhere and be like, "Yeah, we're gonna make a game," like it's such an iconic IP. It's been dormant for many years. So maybe this is the return of Duke Nukem. Maybe we see a new game too. But being from the development of Cobra Kai, I feel like it could turn out really well because Cobra Kai was a really good show. I've never watched it. I just know it reviews really well, and I have people that watch it and they really enjoy it.
No, I'm interested to see it because Duke Nukem has always been sort of an experience as not as much of a game, and I think it's just going to be an interesting, silly kind of thing because it's always meant to be fourth wall breaking, and it's kind of always meant to be geared towards the player knowing what's going on. So I'm it always felt kind of like silly cinematic, meant to be, not really serious.
No, yeah, but I mean, his character like Duke Nukem is just such an iconic person. Like the character himself, like he's just over the top. Like
Hmm.
I don't know, just very American. Even I don't know if he's really American, but he looks like he could be over the
Yeah,
top
he's American.
American, for
Yeah,
sure.
he's what everyone thinks an American is.
Yeah,
All
man.
right, so gaming news this week. The past 2 weeks we've got some cool things that are going on. We saw the Games Fest, but one of the things that didn't happen during the Games Fest that we didn't cover is Square Enix. They had their own event. They announced a new Just Cause. New Just Cause is in development currently. So with this will bring us up to 5 or 6.
Yeah, five, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
think we,
it's five. Five
yeah.
would be the new one.
So we'll be up to the fifth Just Cause now, which the Just Cause 4 didn't do too well, but hopefully maybe they can learn from their mistakes and revert back to our Just Cause 2 and 3 days. We also had an entire Final Fantasy event that happened. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been announced. This is the second installment in the Final Fantasy VII chapter. The announcement comes with three games in total. We had the Rebirth, the remake Integrate, and I believe it's
Well, we had actually
Ever
had a cut.
Crisis.
There was a couple of different things that were
Well,
announced, like game
yes,
wise.
but the big thing that they were covering in their YouTube release was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming out next Christmas, next
2023.
winter.
Yeah,
Yep.
holiday 2023.
And then 2022 this year, we're going to get Ever Crisis, I believe. And then Remake Integrate is now available on Steam,
Hmm. And then they also announced the Crisis Core Final Fantasy
which
VII
was a
reunion.
this is a PSP remake or remaster of Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, which was a PSP game.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that they're remastering like everything that was related to Final Fantasy VII because there's just so much I guess that happened around that game specifically, and just it's a lot of content, a lot of lore to go with. And I think what's the other one? Is it the First Soldier is like a prequel? Um,
Uh, I don't remember.
The prequel to the Final Fantasy focus on Zack Fair and a Buster Swordwielder soldier who has a hugely important role in the series that we've definitely not going to talk about here. So yeah, that
Yeah,
that
he's the character that we saw at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS5. So
mhm.
he's the character that was kind of limping through the desert and also can be seen carrying the main character in the current game, in the current trailers and promos.
Yeah, the prequel is the Chris Core Final Fantasy VII reunion. That's what that one is. But then they did announce the Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier. Season 3 just went underway, so that's pretty cool. And then obviously you just talked about Final Fantasy VII: Ever Crisis. It's a new episodic single player mobile game, so that'll be interesting. And then they announced like a bunch of merchandise and some gear and stuff, obviously collectibles that you can.
It's Square Enix. What else?
Right.
They always have tons of stuff.
I'm just glad that we were able to get like part two of Final Fantasy VII remake
Yeah,
finally, because like,
it's something we were hoping to see all of Games Fest and all of the PlayStation event 3 weeks ago now. And we didn't get anything of that.
right.
So finally being able to see it at Square Enix's own event kind of was like, well, thank God we thought you forgot the game existed. Next up, we've got Resident Evil. Xbox Series X and S are going to be getting upgrades to RE2, 3, and 7. These were released on June 13th. So last week, if you play Resident Evil 2, 3, or 7 on the Xbox, you got a next gen update for free.
And actually, I forgot. It was also PC. It got the upgrades, and there was actually
Mhm.
a bug that was going around. Like, once you upgraded to the next gen version of the game, you could not revert back to the older version of it. And then they fixed it. They sent out an update that you can revert, because some PCs were now no longer able to run the game, where like they could run the non-upgraded
Yeah.
version. So they had to go and obviously send out a patch for that, because that would suck to not be able to play a game
Well,
anymore.
you've bought the game and now you can't play it.
Right.
Talking about a game that nobody wants to play, though, Dying Light 2 Stay Human has now a new story DLC that came out last week. It has photo mode, a new ranked system, daily and weekly bounties, two new currencies to buy stuff with, a new enemy.
Okay. I don't
Okay.
think it's
Yep.
enough. Like, it's not anything that's going to make me want to go back and play it, because of just how poor the actual main game was. Like, it was miserable. It was a very miserable experience.
Yeah. So we're and I'm not sure really what we're getting out of this either. It just doesn't seem like it's really that much of a good game anymore. Like there was a lot of miss and not a lot of hit for this game.
Yeah. There was just so much hype behind it, and just
Flop.
did not live up to the expectation.
And talking about something that didn't live up to the expectation, Battlefield 2042 Season 1 finally came out. Season 1 finally came out for the game.
Yeah. And with that, guess what, guys? We got one map, one specialist, and some new equipment, like a new rifle, a new crossbow, some new tech
But you
gears or
also got
whatever.
a battle pass, Vic. That's what's important.
We
Yeah,
also got some
exactly.
new helicopters, a new smoke grenade. I'm so excited to not play this
It
game. I'm so disappointed.
it
Like,
it
I wanted to play this game so badly.
I do too. And like watching the new map, it looks so good, but like the gameplay is so bad. And the only people you're going to really fight on the game anymore are sweats. Like the casual community is gone.
Yeah.
So, talking about the competitor here to Battlefield, Infinity Ward, they're actually looking like they're going to be making a new IP. So, a job description hit Infinity Ward's site, teasing an open world RPG title in development.
I'm curious.
What do we think this is going to be? Like, to me, I'm thinking it's probably just going to be maybe an open world, like, first person shooter game.
I don't know, man. Like, maybe this is just some of the early talks from Microsoft and just giving them that leeway. Obviously, because they're spacing out the Call of Duties. It's not every year. It'll probably be at least every other year that we get a new Call of
So,
Duty.
and
So
if
we
we
won't.
have three developers, that's 6 years between your Call of Duty games now.
Right, and they only need 3 years to make a Call of Duty, and it'll be fine because all Call of Duties going forward will now have to use the same engine. And Infinity Ward is creating theirs. It comes out this October. So then they got 6 years to wait until their next one, and they can have multiple teams. I mean, look at Obsidian where they have like 4 teams, 4 games in
Hmm.
development. So like, this is pretty cool though, because I'm really eager to see what their their studio can produce because obviously they just been Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. When was the last time we had a Infinity Ward game that was non Call of Duty? I'll wait.
Infinity Ward's only ever made Call of Duty.
Was
That's
it?
why they were made. Yeah. They've never made anything other than Call of Duty. I went to their website earlier before we even went live and I was like, what games did they make? Do they make anything that isn't a first person shooter? Call of Duty? Scroll down. Call of Duty,
Call
Call
of
of
Duty,
Duty,
Call of
Call of Duty,
Duty.
Call of Duty. The first game they ever made, Call
Call
of
that.
Duty.
Yeah, they because they were like the first developers
The
behind Call.
original
Yeah,
Call of Duty.
yeah, and then they added on like Treyarch, Raven, and Sledgehammer,
Hmm.
which all made other games except Infinity Ward has been Call of Duty. So it'd be interesting to see what they can do because obviously all of the Modern Warfares were phenomenal. The campaigns, the gameplay, the
Yep.
gunplay, the
Well,
mechanics.
that's what you expect from the original developer. You expect them to be able to make their IP right. So anytime we get something from Infinity Ward, we're usually happy because Infinity Ward is the original Call of Duty. Talking about shooters, though, we have Valorant. Valorant has now teased their new map, Pearl. Pearl is going to be sort of a water wetwork map, but it has the community in an uproar. They're removing a map from unrated and ranked playlists. Split will now only be available for deathmatch, spike rush, and custom games and any other map mode that they make in addition to those. They want to keep the rank and unrated rotations down to 7 maps. What are your thoughts, Vic? Because I know you have certain thoughts that you've expressed before.
Right. So I don't understand why you have to limit your map rotation to 7. Just create a system that's going to work. Obviously, implementing a voting system on like 2 maps pop up, and you can have like you can vote on either map that you as a lobby wants to play on, and you can even have like, oh, I don't want to play on either of these maps. Hit random. So then it just randomizes it. Like I don't know why you have to remove a map. Like that means you created content that now is no longer being used. So then that just becomes a wasted resource until you decide to put it back into rotation and then take another map out. So like I just feel like this is just stupid. Like they just have to come up with a new way of doing this. Like I don't understand their reasoning behind it. But the map
I
does look really good.
Yeah, I kind of am in the same boat and not in the same boat. Like I see it from both sides, and I'm honestly not offended either way. The idea is they want to limit the rotation of maps for people who are playing on the competitive esports level. You want to have your pros only remembering so many lineups. You don't want to have to give them another map they have to master just in case it gets selected in esports.
Yeah, I get it, but like if they're pros, like they have to put in the work and know all of it. I mean, look at Call of Duty. Imagine like when you played in pro leagues and that, and there'd be like 15, 16 maps, and you have to learn all the sites, all the lineups, everything in Call of Duty. Like that was very important if you wanted to go pro. Like you had to understand player movement in Call of Duty. And you imagine trying to learn that in 15, 20 maps in Call of Duty? Like,
Exactly.
now Valorant has 8, about to be 8 maps. Like, come on.
No, I agree.
But I get it though.
Yeah. So, in the world of Xbox now, closing out here with our last segment, Xbox has Microsoft Flight Sim World Update 10 coming out. This is giving us more USA content. It's 4 handcrafted airports, 87 new points of interest, 3 new landing challenges, 3 discovery flights, and 3 bush trips. Is it bush trips? Is what you meant to write?
Bush trip ship. Yep.
Okay.
It's a type of
So,
flight of some sort, I guess, like with the smaller
okay.
planes, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Um, But yeah, man, like it's pretty cool to see the constant releases and like significant updates to Flight Simulator. And this one hits home. Finally, obviously, a lot of their world updates have been like other countries and continents, and but we finally got a big one here for the United States. And 87 point of interest. That means like there's 87 points around our country that they went in and enhanced and made it look really super detailed, even more than what it already was. And it's just pretty cool to see just another great update here. Obviously, we've seen the announcement at the Xbox and Bethesda Showcase with the crossover with Halo and the new planes that are coming and the gliders and the helicopters and all
The
that other stuff.
Pelican.
Yeah, the Pelican. Yeah, that's great to see all of that content coming.
And then in the world of Bethesda, we've got Fallout 5 has been announced, but it won't be coming out until Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. So when we are 50 years old, we will finally see Fallout 5.
Man, this really blows me because I don't really care about Elder Scrolls at all. I love Fallout, and we know that Bethesda takes forever to make games. Like it's at least 6 years per game, and with Microsoft owning them and having all these other studios that they could just hey, let's all put together our talents and make a Fallout 5. Like I just don't see why you're passing up that opportunity and letting such a famous and iconic franchise sit dormant for a long time. Because when did we get four? I mean, I guess 76 was the most recent one, but that one was pretty trash. Um,
Fallout 4 came around
2015.
2013,
20,
2015.
2015 was the release of that. So by the time we get that, it's going to be like what 2030. So it's like 15 years in between Fallout games. Like that's a bit excessive. Like single player specifically, not the open world MMO
Yeah. Well,
whatever's.
Bethesda's currently tied up with other games as well, so it kind of makes sense why we're not seeing Elder Scrolls 6 yet because we still have one more game before it.
We got Starfield, which looks phenomenal.
Exactly.
So I get it.
Does. And then last but not least, Halo devs got fired. Oh my god. They named the newest Juneteenth cosmetic set Bonobo, which is a type of ape. They literally named the Juneteenth stuff after a chimpanzee.
Yeah, it was like the palette that they were using, like in office, like in development, bonobo or whatever, and I guess that's a species of a great ape, and it's just like, did anybody just not go red flag? Like that's not good. Like I just don't get it. But it's interesting. Like people stumbled upon this because obviously they looked at the code and stuff like that. I just hope that they can make some repairs and and whatnot because they
Just
definitely can't be doing that.
admit their mistakes at this point and move forward and saying, we will be more conscientious with our in development names because something that developers may think is okay is really not because anything could become public at any minute.
Right. But that's all of our gaming news for the week. Let's talk about. We just got a couple gaming rumors and leaks that kind of came out. Epic. It's kind of it was a leak that came out. It was a screenshot. Epic is apparently working on a first-person camera, a first-person perspective for Fortnite, and it makes sense, man. It just adds another way to play Fortnite, and to be able to like say you combine the first person with the no build, like that's gonna be really cool to see that kind of Fortnite. Like that changes Fortnite big time, and I'm really excited for that one because I remember when I played PUBG and PUBG had a third person and a first person mode, and like those two modes played really differently. Like you can sit in a building in third person but still see the outside, so you can see if anybody's coming up or sneaking up on you. Where like
Yep.
first person, you're in the building, you have no idea who's outside, and then next you know you're getting a grenade or a pan to the face. So it just all depends. So
It really does. It's going to change the style of gameplay. Now, does that force the entire lobby to play first or third person?
yeah, that'll be like a specific mode, I would think. So if you got to choose like I'm playing first person no build or first person regular battle royale or however they decide to do it, because that's how it was in PUBG. PUBG was like you go to first person and then you choose like how many people want to play with or or whatever. Like you just played with whatever. So that was pretty cool how they give options and just
Mhm.
obviously it'd be cheating like if you were trying to mix them because it wouldn't be fair
Yeah, exactly.
to the team
Because
who
some people are going to have one thing over another,
right.
and it's definitely interesting to see that because it keeps the game fresh.
Right. but like we still run into that kind of issue right now with crossplay with like Warzone because like when people play on PC they have a FOV slider where like console doesn't have an FOV slider, and that's a big issue going on in the Call of Duty community right now that they're hoping for with Warzone 2 will allow you to adjust your FOV in on console along with PC to make that fair because like that you it's so
There's
crazy
so much. It's
that
so
you're
much
missing.
information.
Right, you're missing this person that's running right next to you, and you have no idea they're right there until you're dead. But that like if you had an FOV slider and you made it a little bit bigger, oh, I see him right away, got him. Like it makes all the difference. So,
Exactly.
but another one here, God of War Ragnarok is rumored to be releasing in November. I still don't know why we're halfway through June, towards the end of June here, and we still have yet to know when this game is coming out. Like, what is holding them back from really like telling us the release date? Like, are they that scared that this game's going to have to get delayed, and then they look bad if they give us a release date, kind of like how Starfield was? Because Starfield was supposed to come out 11/11/22, and then obviously got delayed, and that looks bad. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm excited for God of War Ragnarok coming out. If it comes out in November, I just really hope we don't get a delay because if it gets pushed back till next year, I think the community's gonna freak out. And honestly, maybe they're afraid. Maybe they're afraid of not winning Game of the Week, Game of the Year now.
Right.
We have so many stark competitors at this point. It feels like the Bethesda's scared for one. They're like, yeah, let's move Starfield to next year. We might not win, and we don't want all of our work to go for naught. We want these awards.
Right.
We want to steal these awards.
Yeah. I mean, I think next year is going to be pretty fun to
Pretty
see like
packed too.
the
Yeah.
competition for Game of the Year. But another thing in the world of PlayStation, the PS5 Pro controller is apparently rumored to be in the works. So, just another thing that they love they're trying to copy from Xbox, which I'm really interested to see. I guess is they'll have like the paddle buttons on the back and the adjustable joysticks and the different D pads and just everything you can do with the Xbox Elite controller is what theirs is called. So maybe PlayStation does it a little bit better because obviously the PS5 controller is next gen. Like that is a next
It's super
generational
good.
controller. So it is a really solid controller. I'm interested to see what a pro version of that controller could look like.
Same, because I'm already using the regular one now for both PC and PC and PlayStation 5, and I love it. I love the PS5 controller. I think it just works well.
Right, and honestly, even Microsoft took notice to the controller because they sent out a survey at one point asking people like, "Hey, would you guys want to see the haptic feedback and the resistant the triggers and stuff like that?" And so they're definitely testing the market like, "Hey, would you guys want that in our controller?" So I wouldn't be surprised if they reiterate the Xbox controller or have a different version of it that includes those kind of features.
Exactly. Well, I think that's it for this week. So, how are you doing? Good. Good to close out.
Yeah, man, it was a good quick episode. We didn't have too much extra news to cover. Obviously, we had a lot of events that we did live coverage on, and we didn't want to rehash any of that kind of stuff for this episode. But we definitely want to thank all of our live viewers that showed up today and anyone who checks us out later on YouTube. Be sure to check these episodes out live, though, every Sunday at 7 o'clock. We also have our co op stream every Sunday at 12 to 3. I think we'll be finishing up Tiny Tina's next week, I think. So definitely stay tuned for that. But anything else from you, Roger?
No, thanks for checking us out, guys. Make sure we check us out tomorrow for Valorant. We're last day of the season tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we can. I can get back to Silver 3. Maybe some of the rest of our community can also get up into Silver. And
Right.
then we're gonna see Pearl. I'm excited for that, dude.
Yeah.
Next week's Valorant is the last before we start getting big changes.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. But Roger, where can we find you at?
Hey, if you want to find me, I'm on twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion.
And of course, you can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _. Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Hit me up on there. And of course, I stream at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Mr. Never Chillin. That's if I'm playing any like single player experiences, but I haven't really been streaming. Trying to figure out my next game I want to play. But we definitely want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.
Peace.